Hi everyone, I'm Cici.
And I'm Sharif.
And this is Life with Us. So, welcome to our very first podcast, our very first episode of Life with Us. And as the title says, it's about life with us.
Exactly. So we'll be talking about us, our relationship, relationship with family, our friends, but also most importantly,
Faith.
Yes.
Because, of course, God is the glue that ties it all together.
Today will be actually just an introduction so you guys can get to know us. We'll talk a little bit of how we met each other and how we got to the point, where we are right now.
Yeah. So today is about our story. And well, I have some questions prepared. And this is going to be completely unscripted, guys, because we did not want to run through it too much. We want it to be as spontaneous as possible.
Exactly.
So today you get to hear our story. Are you ready, Sharif?
I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so the very first question will have to be, how did we meet?
How did we meet? That's a funny question, funny story. Actually, we know each other for a long time already. We've been living in the Netherlands since 2012, but we've known each other before that, both being musicians, you being a singer on the island. And we used to run into each other at concerts and so on. And we spoke, but we weren't really friends, I would say.
No, we were more like acquaintances. We'd see each other at concerts and we'd greet from a distance. But I think that was pretty much the extent of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we came to the Netherlands, we moved to the Netherlands. We knew that both of us would be moving. So we kind of kept in contact a little bit. I think you were the one that asked me for my number.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yes, you asked me for my number back in the day on the BlackBerry.
Yeah, no, I asked you for your BB pin.
Wow. Throwback, folks. That's a throwback.
BlackBerry pin. Wow.
So he asked me for my BB pin and but we never really actually spoke, and then one day we ran into each other
in the train.
Exactly. On the way to church. We had no idea that we would both be attending the same congregation in Rijswijk at the time.
Yeah.
And we just casually bumped into one another on the train, and that was the start of a beautiful friendship.
Exactly.
Okay, want to read the second question?
Let's go. So, what was my first impression? What were our first impressions of one another?
My first impression of Sharif was he was a little quiet. He was a little shy. He had this interesting mustache situation going on. That was kind of like my first impression. It was like, this guy's kind of quiet, kind of chill. Yeah.
For me, it's quite the opposite then. I would say you were really out there, a bit of a weirdo, really extravagant outfits, and, really being out there. So that was my first impression of you.
I was eccentric.
Eccentric. That's the perfect description.
Yeah. Okay, so I was eccentric, and Sharif was kind of like the shy, mellow, nerdy
quiet
type.
Yeah.
And as we've grown in our relationship, we've realized that some of that is certainly true, but it's not nearly as accurate as you would think that description is.
Definitely not. I wouldn't say you're a weirdo anymore.
I would still say I'm a weirdo. A little bit, just slightly. Okay, on to the next question. So, how did we pursue one another?
I wasn't really pursuing at first because
he wasn't pursuing at all.
At all, you can say that, because now when I first got here, I came really focused on my studies. I said I would not look for a relationship. Don't follow the girls, anything. And along came you. But being the focused person I was at the time, I was like, let me not pursue this and just maybe a friendship for now. That let's keep it up to that. And that was it for me in the beginning.
Well, you see, the thing is, I when I came here at first, I was in a relationship. Then the relationship ended. It was long distance, and so I wasn't at first looking for, of course, a relationship. So Sharif and I actually had a friendship for a very long time, and somewhere along the line of that friendship, I would say maybe 6 months in, things kind of changed. And I was like, well, he's kind of cute, he's nice. And so I started baking him cookies and muffins and scones and
Cupcakes,
cupcakes and
delicious ones.
all the things that he likes. I figured out along the way that he's a sweet tooth. He has a sweet tooth. And so I decided I'm going to just win his heart over with all of my wonderfully baked goods. And yeah, somewhere, I think months later, he finally caught on. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's how the story started.
mission accomplished. You got to
I
yeah, grab my
accomplished the
attention.
yes, I accomplished my mission.
Describe your first date. Okay, this should be this should be fun. This should be controversial.
So the thing is, Sharif and I can never agree on what the first date is. In my humble opinion, our first date was in Delft when he decided he was going to take me, or actually, I asked him. I asked him to show me around the city of Delft, because I've heard so many stories. He was telling me, "Yeah, I live in Delft. I study in Delft," and I was like, "Oh, I've never been there. Maybe you should show me around sometime." And so after church one day, it was a snowy day. It's really snowed very, like it snowed a lot.
It's blown a lot. Yeah.
And so we decided that we would go to Delft and just walk around in the old city center and just, yeah, he would show me around the city. And we ended up in the subway when it started snowing again. And I remember we have these pictures of me sitting in the snow and snow all over my hair. And it was a good time. I had short red hair back then.
Eccentric.
Eccentric, as Sharif already mentioned. Yeah, so that's how I recall our first date. Sharif?
So I wouldn't say that was our first date. That was hanging out as friends, after church. Hey, this is where I live. Let's see the city. We were hanging out. We had lunch.
Hearing
as
the
friends.
emphasis on hanging out here, you'd literally friend zone me.
I have to admit I was sort of friend zoning her at the time, but yeah, after that we hang out more. We kept out doing more together, and I think what I would consider our first official date that we actually sort of asked each other out was when we had bubble tea. And that was also a funny story because I was supposed to come watch a not a rehearsal. You had
An exam.
an
We had
exam, exactly.
Yeah.
I had to be at your exam, and I was late. I missed the train, and I said, let's grab something to drink afterwards. And we sat and we had a good time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, you were late. Actually, you came after the exam. But then we grabbed some yo-yo,
I tried.
some bubble tea and frozen yogurt at the yo-yo bar.
Exactly.
He was not convinced on the yogurt, but
No, it was my first time trying bubble tea.
we're still, bubble tea is still one of our things we do together quite often.
To this day,
actually.
still like it.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite things to do together.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay. Next question.
Yes. Next question. This is going so well, Sheriff. Oh, when did you know that I was the one?
Can I pinpoint that moment? I don't think I can really pinpoint a single moment. It's after we officially started dating, and we knew we were going to do this like seriously date, not just play around. But it was a period to get to know each other, get to know each other's character, see if we are a fit or not, and along the way, the confidence level increases, and after a certain point, you realize, okay, I see I can spend the rest of my life with this person. So I don't think it's possible to pinpoint a single moment. It was just we dated for 4 years, and I guess after a year of dating, you already know, okay, this I can do this for the long haul, the long run. So
Aww. He's so cute, guys. He's really cute. Well, for me, I have a couple of moments I think that really showed me or highlighted that this is the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And one of those was actually a dream I had. So I was, I was shooting my shot, as the youngins like to say. I was shooting my shot. Sharif was not responding. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to forget about it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Because as Sharif said, for him, it was when we already started dating. But for me, it was already way before that. Um, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this up. I'm going to leave Sharif alone. I'm going to leave this and just like, try to shoot my shot elsewhere. And then I got a dream a couple of weeks or months later. And it was like about like me and Sharif being together and God blessing our union and something. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But something, it really resonated in my heart, and it just felt right. And then it already kind of didn't feel right anymore to leave that pursuit. And so that was for me one of the first aha moments, I would say. And then after we started dating, I kind of had some jewelry that was gifted to me by my ex, and I was praying like, Lord, this relationship, is this really what you want? Yada yada, the whole emotional ordeal. And then I remember one day, just I lost it. I had it. I was wearing my bracelet, and then all of a sudden I was no longer wearing the bracelet. So, along the way, God was showing me things and giving me signs or hints that it's time to let go. And this relationship that you're pursuing, this direction that you're going into, it's a good thing. So that was it for me.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges you had to overcome during dating?
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, I was already in a relationship, a very long relationship actually. I started dating quite young. I was another guy in the church. I was in back home, and so there was a lot of baggage already there. As for Sharif, I was his first girlfriend, or his first like serious official girlfriend, and so he had a lot to learn with in being in relationships, but I had a lot to unlearn and let go of. So that was quite a challenge, and not just that, it's also the challenge of getting to know each other as as people. He at first in the beginning wanted his space. He was still used to his singleness. I had to learn that he's not the same person I am, or he's not the same person that my ex was. So it was really kind of getting to know one another, but also unlearning certain habits, unlearning certain things, like learning to trust someone new. And yeah, but in the end, I mean, if we look at it now, it was all worth it, because I feel like we built a very solid foundation in those first years of dating.
Yeah, you sort of already answered for me. As you said, you was my first serious girlfriend, first serious relationship, and also being I was studying at the time, so I was really focused on my school and so on. So I had to unlearn, or I actually had to learn how to allow someone into my space, and specifically intentionally set aside time for the relationship, and just instead of just sitting behind the laptop for a whole day. So I had to switch in that mindset, and realizing that, okay, this is now about two people, not just one person, and I can set up my agenda the way I want, do what I want from morning to evening. No, I had to really intentionally set time aside for you, and for a relationship to work on that. So that was the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah, I would come in sometimes, and Sharif would have like all his curtains just closed in this very dark room, and he'd be sitting on his bed behind his laptop like this, and I'd come in and I'd open all of the windows.
Cringe.
Yeah, yeah, but in the end, I think we worked through all of that, and we are better for it.
Yes.
When did you know that you were ready for marriage?
Um. Yeah, like I already said, Christian dating 101. You always go into a relationship like with the goal of having a serious relationship for the long haul. And So you go in with that intention, like, okay, let's see if this person is someone I could end up marrying. And as I said, as you slowly get to know each other and see if you complement each other and make each other stronger, if you have the same vision, the same goals, that became clearer and clearer for me that, okay, our paths, they definitely align. What you want to pursue, I can definitely support you in that, and the same way for me. And when those pieces they started coming together, I knew already, okay, we weren't there, of course, but we can work towards towards marriage. And again, difficult to pinpoint a moment, but you just build up that
Yeah.
confidence. You start. Let me say, I started with that goal, definitely with that mindset of working towards marriage. But you build up that confidence through the period of dating. So
Yeah, I think for me, especially as you said, it was not a certain specific moment in time, but it was mostly a feeling I had like, okay, this feels good. It feels like home. It feels safe. And I'm gonna get emotional, but it feels like um not it feels like home. It feels comfortable. It feels like you're at the place that you were meant to be. And that's when I knew, at least. That's when I knew.
beautiful.
Yeah.
How did he pop the question?
How did he pop the question? He did an excellent job, guys. If you know me, as some of my friends know me, you would know that I do not like surprises
Oh no.
because I like being in control of things. I like planning my things myself. And so I'm a very difficult person to surprise. And I had a list of requirements, guys. I said my nails need to be nice. Like I have to be wearing something nice and it has to be documented because we have family that are living abroad. My parents live abroad, his parents live abroad. Our grandparents are very important to us. And so we wanted our family still to be a part of it. And so those were my requirements. And then one day he told me, like grab some nice clothes or something. I was not expecting. I was expecting just a nice date, but it turned out to be a engagement. I
Yeah.
was very very surprised. So we went to this kind of like a harbor in Delft, where we entered a boat. We have a thing with boats. We like boat rides
Ever since that day, yeah.
ever since that day. And yeah, so he took me on this boat ride in the canals of Delft. And then we stopped for a nice, like the Dutch would say, a borrel. It's like getting snacks and wine at this very nice restaurant in Delft that used to be the Postage Museum. And then when we went back to the boat to get into the boat, I walked in the boat, and then when we turned around, the whole family was there. Or was the whole family in the boat?
They
No,
no,
no, no, no. They were not in the
they
boat.
were not in the
I
boat
got
yet.
in
No,
the boat, and then I turned around, and everyone was
they
there.
walked up to us. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so nice. My sister was there. All his siblings were there. My cousins are there. Like so many family members were there, and it was perfect. It was perfect. And then he got on one knee, of course, in the boat as the boat was going through under the bridge, and yeah, it was all waterworks from there. It was awesome.
It was difficult to plan because she doesn't like surprises. So she kept asking the whole summer, when is it happening? When is it happening? So I had to wait till the last moment to give her the slightest hint so that
Girls
she
gotta
would
be
know.
prepared.
Yeah, you didn't make it easy.
But we're here now, so that's all that matters. Okay, how was the wedding day?
I think some of you might know we celebrate actually two wedding dates because we first got married in the Netherlands, just the civil union in the municipality of Delft. That was the 21st of June. And that was so we can have our family and friends here in the Netherlands celebrate with us, our colleagues, and so on. And that was in the beautiful city of Delft where everything started. We thought
Yeah.
that would be appropriate, and Of course, it's a beautiful day. It was a sunny day, perhaps too sunny even, because afterwards, when we had our little party over in Rotterdam, it was so hot inside the place, but it was beautiful. The pictures were nice, and yeah, it was such it started out quite funny because we were late. You would say classic us, but yeah, we were late, and we ran into the municipality, and everybody was waiting, and then you get to sit down and the ceremony starts, and you think, oh wow, this is really it. You come in rushing, but once you sit down, you really realize,
Yeah.
okay, this is it's really happening. And the second date, what we yeah our official or what we consider our official wedding was the 27th of July, so the next month, on home soil on Curacao with all our family there,
Yeah.
and that we went all out with our party and so on, and that was such an amazing day. I think the highlight for me was when Cici walked in, because we rehearsed the day before on the song we chose together, remember? And we rehearsed and everybody was ready, and I was standing down the aisle and I see her coming, and I hear a different song start playing, and I'm like, no way the DJ is messing this up at this moment. But it turned out she had this surprise song prepared for me that she sang in beforehand, and that's the song she walked down the aisle on, and it was so beautiful. And if you look at the video, that's when the tear drops. So yeah, it was just the most amazing day.
Yeah. It really was. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I can explain it any better than Sharif did. But as he said, the 21st of June was in the Netherlands in Delft, and it was just the most beautiful thing because it was the place where everything started, where our first date was.
Unofficial day.
Our
Let's
first
call it that.
um it was the place where we had most of our dates. And so we felt it was appropriate, and it was great to have our friends, our church community there. Our family that lives here was there. But nothing beats getting married on home soil. So when we were married in Curacao, it was even more beautiful. Like, who could have imagined it could have been even more beautiful than the
Hmm.
first time? But there's really something special about getting married before so many witnesses, where you grew up to see your grandparents there, and your aunts and your
Hmm.
uncles and your childhood friends, and also just saying I do before God. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, that was very special. And today is actually we're actually filming on our second anniversary day,
Yeah.
so I'm extra emotional and tearful. We celebrate 4 years, and it was the first best years of my life so far.
Agree. Should I read the last
Yeah.
question then? Where are we now in marriage in comparison to where we were in the beginning of a relationship?
Okay, where are we now? Oh my goodness. I would say life is so much different now than in the
Mm,
beginning. In the beginning of a new relationship, or in the beginning of your marriage, everything's so new and exciting. And
yeah.
but after a few years, you kind of get into a routine, and some people, I would say, tend to get bored with the routine. But for me, um, I would say there's something so wonderful and um, so wonderful and beautiful about a love that is that stable, I would say. So where we find ourselves now is kind of like in that consistent kind of love where everything may not be as exciting and new and fresh, but it's stable, it's loving, it's secure. I would say it's firm, it's durable. Um, that's something that makes me very happy. That's something that gives me so much peace, because I know that no matter what, I always have Sharif on my side. And um, that to me is kind of where we find ourselves now. And it's also an exciting season because you can feel that it's also different. Like, we every day we still learn things from each other, maybe not as big as in the beginning, but we're still learning new things about each other. We're still um learning to communicate differently. And we're also looking forward to the future. Now we're all both like really looking forward to what God has in store for us in the years to come, with maybe planning our family, with him finishing his studies. So, with us maybe thinking about moving into a new house, things like that. It's very exciting in that regard, but it's also very stable. And I kind of like where that is. I like where we're at.
Yeah, the word you use, stability, I think that's I would also use that word stability. Because the truth is that as time passes by, we also change, we grow, and but the important thing is that we made sure to build a solid foundation so that when things happen, that it doesn't crumble. It doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes anymore. We definitely still make mistakes, but we made
Yeah.
sure that yeah, that we understand each other on a deeper level, so that we can overcome everything that comes our way. But most importantly, like you said, at first you have to keep on chasing these rushes, exciting dates to keep things alive. But now it's more of enjoying the little moments, enjoying the little things, just getting to spend time
Yeah.
with each other. When you come back home, there's a person there that you can, that you can lean on, and tell how your day was, and those things are just beautiful. And there's still plenty of things to look forward to that excites us, of course. And there's plenty of things we do together. We like to make music together, and traveling and so on. So there's enough that keeps us excited. But even without those things, we are at a point that we can just enjoy each other's company. and
Yeah.
and I think that's the thing I like the most of where we are at the moment.
Yeah. Well said, husband.
Hmm,
Well said.
thank
Well
you.
spoken. Like a true podcaster. Okay, guys. So we're actually at the end of our story.
Yes, we hope that you got to know us a little bit better, in an introduction into our lives, into our relationship, how we got to know each other, and the route to where we are right now.
Yeah, and it was awesome just sharing our story, telling our story again. Um, and in the coming podcast, we will be discussing a little bit more about what it means to be young and married. That's something that we get a lot of questions about. What does it mean to be in your 20s and married? And a lot of you have so many questions. So, as a new thing that we would like to do coming forward, please send us your comments, leave them in the description box, or if you're watching us on YouTube, or just send us a message on Instagram. You will see our handles somewhere in the description or on the video, and just send us your questions. We would love to answer your questions. We would love to hear from you. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.